Așa că toți suntem pe live, ar trebui să scoatem chat-ul, nu?
Da.
Yeah, let's keep the chat over there. And go back to coding. So far we have worked on something. Let's figure out the next step. Have we got reviews on this one? Any idea?
I did a review there, yeah.
Okay. GitHub projects. Typography. Well, still need to do, should be in review anyway. So if we have to go on it, pull request, typography. Okay, let's merge this and rebranch. Switch back to Visual Studio Code, and since we've removed that branch, let's create a new, open a new console and git checkout. Switch to dev, git checkout dev, git stash because it doesn't want to switch. Git checkout dev and clear and git pull to grab the latest version. And now let's look into probably this one. Okay, refresh. Button. So let's start with button or spacing or whichever. Let's do button. Okay, so we've created a new branch. We can start working on the button. So create a new folder, button, copy that text, and then you file index.ts for exports, for nice exports. We got an index.ts, then a button.tsx and a button.style.ts. And Antonia, are you? Is this live share already shared? Because invite participants. Do you have the link for it?
No, I don't have it.
Should be here anyway. Now let's improve a bit with our communication and collaboration. I'll say button.type.ts. Okay. So now let's see. For button.type, we want to export an interface button. Then we need another one. This would be button style or style button, whatever. And this is button, which is an interface. Then we also want to export const default props, which is an object, and we'll figure out what it needs. Cool. So far I know that it will need a size, and it will be a medium one. And then sizes are coming from, well, we already got some sizes in here. See? So maybe I can export this somewhere else or just copy it. Okay. Whoever has extra voice, Stefan, can you mute yourself and use push to talk if possible? Okay. And then this interface button should extend extends D1 on the top style button. And this one will have children as optional. And it will be a React node. And this will be a type. And so far we start with something. Now let's go back to Figma and figure out what we need for buttons. Okay. So this looks like a button and it has a size. It has a hierarchy, I would say. Probably. Okay. Let's do. This, I don't like hierarchy, how it's spelled like over here. Let's do kind. And this would be primary or secondary. Okay. Then it will also have later on multiple type of colors that comes from the theme itself. So theme color. So far I'm gonna do it a string, and not as a string type. Okay, and I'm going to also rename this to something more descriptive and appropriate, whatever. What else do we need? Well, if it has an icon, yeah, and if it's destructive or not, and a state. Okay, we need state. State would be optional, and it will have default. Well, not really, because state by default is just it. Hover and active are CSS states, and then disabled is the one that we actually care about it. So maybe disabled. And this is a boolean. Okay. So Antonia.
Yes.
Over here, we've created a let's say some kind of configuration. This is how you can think of it. That helps us later on understand what we are expecting from the button itself.
Okay.
So far, we are using sizes here. This kind of explains more or less how big or how small it is, right?
Okay, yes.
Then we got primary and secondary. Primary could have a color, this color or another color. And then secondary, well, not secondary. Kind primary and secondary. Well, yeah, anyway, not secondary. No, it's not primary and secondary. Wait a second. Action, I'll say. Normal and destructive. Something like that. So the idea is when something has an action like a delete button or something that removes something, that's kind of destructive, right?
Yes.
So this is kind of what they also mean by destructive here, true or false. Actually, we can do destructive as boolean. Yeah. And by default, destructive should be false. Okay. Then disabled by default should be false. And size, okay. What else do we need here? The icon, we're speaking about icon, right? However, an icon can be at the front or at the back. I'm not sure if we need to have icons in both places. Why would you need to have icons in both places? Maybe in the future, I'm not sure. However, I'll do an icon, and this icon so far it will be a string, and later on it might be something else like an enum. This is, by the way, enum. This one where you see strings, but you already know which strings they are. It's not any string, it's only those strings, so this is enum. And then
okay.
we can have leading or trailing. Leading, boolean, or trailing. Actually, if you have an icon, it can only be leading, and if it's not leading, it's trailing. Okay, we'll figure out later on if we need more. Good. So we got kind of a start in terms of if we want to display an icon, we could find out what type of icon. We want to display leading means is the icon going to be here, or trailing means is the icon going to be here.
Oh,
We already got sizes, which makes buttons either bigger or smaller. And we got a normal state. Then this is the hover state. You can see it here. This is the focus state. And then this one is a disabled one. So with that in mind, let's try to create this button. Have you ever written, let's say, components in React?
no, I haven't.
Okay. Any other things that you have written in JavaScript, like functions? I don't know.
Functions. I've written functions, but not buttons and stuff like that.
Well, this button is going to be a functional component, so it's going to be a function.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So let's see. So far, this is where we declare the type of it. This is going to help us understand better, again, what's expected out of the button. Then we are going to write more. We're going to write something in here for the button itself and something in here for the button style.
Okay.
So if we are to start with the style, we are using styled from style components. Basically, this is just a name, it can be like that. However, if you name it styled, you also get some nice colors later on in terms of, whenever you write CSS, it colors it nicely. There's an extension that you should install. It's like style components or something like that. Where's that extension? See, this one. So if you have this VS Code style components, whenever you write components like this, const button equals styled.div, and then you write here color, say blue. Okay. Okay, now if it's not name styled, you just get like white text. Background color black. See, no autocomplete, no nothing. If your name is styled, see, it shows you like CSS, and you can have, you know, font size. It's autocomplete as well. So that's why I name it styled here. Although you could name it anything you want.
Yeah, I got it. Nice.
Cool. So that means if it's a button, let's do color black so far. And background color, I'm gonna do white at the moment, and later on I'm gonna change it into something else. However, if we are still here, let's also do media, screen, and okay, mean width. And no, it's not mean width because I'm not doing responsive. It's prefers color scheme dark. Okay, and in here you could write the same lines, however you want to switch the values.
Why?
Well, just write them, and I'll explain once we see it in the browser.
Okay.
Okay. Now we got color. Buttons also have borders, so border so far 0. Antonia, are you with me or?
Yes, I'm following you.
So why are you not writing here? This,
Okay, so
this
I should write.
is where you should write color and background color.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
What color should I put?
Well, I was just mentioning to you that you should switch the values.
Okay.
Cool. Yay. So we no longer need that. Yay. Background color. Why is it complaining? Maybe it is it. Yeah, it's mistyped. Yeah, that's it. Cool. So the idea is when the user joins and visits the website, and by default, let's call it, somehow it happens that it has a light theme. Not by default, it happens that the user has a light theme set up for the entire system. Like, not like that, not like that. Like this. System settings. Anyway, so I got light. That means those colors are going to be picked up. If we got dark, then those colors are going to be picked up.
Oh.
Cool. So, with that in mind, we've already created a basic style. So I think it's better for us to also see it in the browser. So I'm going to import here my styles from earlier. Import, like my styles, it's only one. So import everything as style from button style. Then I'm going to create a new component. Since I'm in the button, I'm gonna name it button. And this is a functional component. And I'm going to return an S button. Yay! And type something in it. I'm going to export default button. Then so far I'm importing those styles. I'm using them to wrap that text as ESD. Then I'm exporting this constant that is a functional component in React, and I'm exporting it as default over here. And then I'm going to go inside this index, and I'm going to import and export it at the same time. Export from button. So this is the one that I'm doing, this button over here. Okay. And since I'm exporting as default, I'm doing default as button with capital B. And now this component is kind of ready. However, I also have an index inside this atom folder. And I'll duplicate this and move it at the top. Remove text, control space, button, control space, button. So now I'm ready to use my button somewhere. And I could go into routes, could go into index, and I could make this one a button from atom. So it already imported it somewhere here. See, we got button. And this one is complaining about something. Children's string has no properties in common with type interesting attributes, whatever. Not sure what that means. However, I'm going to type this. So I'm going to import type star as t from type. And I'm going to import default props as well. Not as type, because those are values. So now this is a type, and I can type the properties over here as ti button. Okay, and then children, destructive, disabled. See, once you got the type, it's quite easy, right?
Yes.
Leading, size, and maybe later on thin color. Okay, and I'm going to also do button dot default props equals default props. So this one from type, which just says, well, you're gonna have this size, destructive false, disable false. Did I grab disabled anyway here? Yeah, I did. So I'm passing them to this button. Now this one over here needs more stuff. And then let's do disabled icon we don't need, leading we don't need, we need size and something else. We'll see. What's this one? Okay, because it's undefined, really. What? In the type itself. Type. Okay. So getting back over here, it still doesn't like it. Maybe because this button is not typed as t dot. Hey, there's no t because we haven't imported. Import type everything as t from button type t dot style button. Okay, I think this is the part that might be totally new to you. Typing this div, which is not a div, it's a button anyway. However, this part over here is not necessarily new to you, right?
Yes.
So
It's not.
let's see. Now what we get. Well, this one now no longer complains. I still want to make it optional. So now let's see if we look inside the browser. What do we see? I don't see it anyway. Ah, maybe it's this one. Yeah, there is a button. That doesn't do much. But there is a button. And by the way, I'm looking at it at the moment. And I can see it has some padding. Huh. Weird, because I'd never specified any padding. This must be coming from the browser itself. See, padding is 1 pixel, 6 pixels. Maybe we want to reset that, right?
Yes.
So can you reset the padding for the button?
I should write padding.
Yeah.
Over here. 0.
0, yeah. Cool.
0.
And now if I am go back to the button, I can see that, well, padding is no longer there as 1 and 6. And it's quite small. Okay. Now we got padding, we got everything, kind of. Well, we shouldn't have that padding anyway. However, we got a button. And if I'm to do light blue, you can see the button over there, right? If I am to do padding 1 rem, we can see the button being a little bit bigger, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now how do we trying to put those ones somehow on top of the other so they don't complain too much. Maybe I can close this. Yeah. And I can also see the chat in case somebody wants to say something. So we got this button. Now we got also some types in terms of it has a size. No, this is for text. So button type. Yeah. It has this thing with destructive, which later on is going to decide if it's blue or red, I would say. It also has some sizes and an icon and leading. The disabled one is quite easy because the button can be either disabled or not. So let's look into it for a second. Button. There's no button here. Okay. This one is already receiving disabled. So if I'm to go into routes and create a new button, this would be click me not disabled. And there'll be another one, button disabled, click me, I am disabled. Well, there's no big difference right now between them because they don't have anything attached anyway. See, can click on them, but they don't do anything. And one is disabled and one isn't. Now, if we are to go back to the type of the button, and this is button type, and we attach an on click, which is optional and could be a function. Okay. Now, if we are to do an on click here, and then pass the on click to this one, we should be able to see an actionable difference, and then we'll also see a visual difference. But let's look into what actually matters, not necessarily the visual one. That's for our viewers, more or less. So I'll go over here into routes and create a function. And as I create a function, you should create one similar to this one. Click me now. It's a function, so you can do it over here. And this one will console log. You should see this text. Okay.
And what should be the name of this function?
Maybe the name could be, what should be the name?
Okay. Name. Okay.
Okay. And we are going to use this function to attach to the disable button. So maybe write something that
you shouldn't see this text, or
whatever. You do imagine that this is gonna go away, right? So no matter what you write over here, it's going to be removed later on. Yay. So now let's see. I'm going to go to attach this click me now function to this button. And I know that button receives multiple properties like destructive, disabled, icon, leading, size, and on click. Why is there a comma? Did I leave a comma over here? Okay, there is one left. Yeah. So a on click is click me now. So can you attach an on click to your to the next button?
Okay. Click it now. Does it matter? What do I say here?
Yeah, it does. You should save your function, right?
What should be the name?
The one that you created.
It was what should be the name. I forgot. Yes, over there.
That's cool. So I just shared this live stream. Maybe whoever wants to do can do the same on their Facebook profile and so on. Now let's go back to the browser, and we got two buttons. One, well, why aren't they refreshed? What's going on? Well, the class name did not match, but what? Why is it not compiling or? Am I missing something? Am I not passing children? Okay, so this button is receiving click me undisable and click me not disabled. Then, okay, because we are grabbing children over here, but this is hard-coded. So can we replace this hard-coded value by the value of children? Antonia?
Yes, sorry, I was trying to share the link.
Okay, I'm waiting for you. Let's share the link.
So you asked me.
Okay, so let's go back a bit. Over here in this button,
Okay.
I'm using an instance of the button here, and you're using one here. We attached a click event for both of them. Yes. Mine has a function click me now, and yours has what we should do. However, whatever is inside the tag, even for this div, if you think about this div, this thing is inside that div, right? All of them.
Yes.
And of course, this div is inside that form and so on. So whatever is inside the tag is children. So this is children. Now, we did write something over here. It doesn't appear in the browser. It's still SD. So the idea is that we need to make use of this children property instead of SD. So can you update it so it reflects our text?
So I should write children. No, not here.
Okay, so if you're looking at my screen, this is the hard-coded value, right? It prints in both buttons, and we no longer need this hard-coded value. So where are we going to replace it? Are you lost? You could.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. So can you see this value here? I'm pointing to it. Okay. Can you see this value here?
Yes.
Okay. Are you still lost now?
No.
Okay, cool.
So I should write something else here. Click me or something like this.
Not really. We were talking about children.
Children should go over here, I think, no?
Yeah, but if you stay for like half an hour to write children, you're gonna miss up on actually building a badge or something else, you know, because you can write something. That's not something. Anyway. Now you've just hard-coded a different hard-coded value. See? Now it's no longer appearing as ASD, it's appearing as ASW and jubis. So can we make use of the children one that I keep saying?
So I should write children here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Now you've just hard-coded children, which is good. It's a progress. It's progress. Right. Do you know of another way in React that we are making use of? So we evaluate the value of the children. It's we could look at some other ones where we don't say size a string or something else. Okay. Look at on click. Can you look at my screen?
Yes, I am looking on your live.
See, click. Look at this one. Disabled. Size.
So I should write it inside of.
Yeah. Cool. Not there.
Not here.
Okay. Children is what you want to take care of. So far, this is children are going to school. This is called a hard-coded value. See, and now everywhere as children are going to school, although we don't want children are going to school. So I was pointing to you a pattern because I can give you the solution, but then you're not going to learn how to discover things yourself, right?
Yes.
So if I am to make a change here, this is going to be a string. No.
Yes.
See? Come on. This one is a string here, which is like just like here. It's a string as well here. We do not want the string itself on click. We want the value of it. And I was pointing to you that there are some other places just nearby where instead of just writing children, just writing on click, we did something extra to evaluate the value of disabled and the value of on click and the value of size. So what do you see that this one doesn't have? I can give you the answer straight away, but that's not going to teach you anything. What do you see next to those ones that you don't see here?
Children.
Okay, what do you see to on click? This is on click. What's
so
next
I should
to
write it like that?
Yeah, almost. Remove it, but you're good. You're almost there.
Okay.
Remove that equal. What do you see here? Next to disabled, to the left and to the right of it?
S button.
I'm actually pointing to fucking them, you know? I'm pointing to it. This is it.
I don't see it because you don't have live on Discord.
Flip it. That's what I'm gonna say. Flip it. Flip it. Okay. Flip it. That's what we needed to do anyway. Now we are evaluating an expression and we could move on. So yeah. Sorry, my ways are weird, but also my ways are quicker than teachers in any other way. So take it as it is. Yeah. So what we want to do is to put curly braces whenever we want to evaluate an expression, a JavaScript expression. That's my explanation. After, I wanted to see if you can recognize some patterns, because recognizing patterns, especially when they're colored, it's kind of hard not to recognize them when they're not colored. But I'm just saying you need to look into both type of patterns in order to become a better web developer. Otherwise, you'll be learning copy paste, and copy paste doesn't pay you much. Anyway, so now we are passing children over here. Children comes, as I've mentioned to you, it's anything that's inside those lesser and greater sign. Anything that's inside here is children. Well, without the lesser and greater sign. I'm just selecting them so you can see what I mean. For this one, this is the children. So link is a child. Okay?
Yes.
For this div, which see opens over here at the top, and if I follow the straight line because I wrote the code nicely, I can see that it highlights over here. This is the ending div. So anything in between those are children. So for it, for this div, this is a child, this is a child, this is a child, this is a child, well, this is a child, and so on. So when you say children, it's like copy pasting this to the next one. Okay? Children to link is profile. Children to this link is terms, because it's inside it. Okay? So for our button, we wanted to print out, click me, not disabled, or click me, I am disabled. So we got two buttons now, and they showed, well, a bit different. One says click me, not disabled. One says click me, I am disabled. If I want to click on this one, I can see, you should see this text. If I want to click on this one, nothing happens. I'm clicking on it right now. Nothing happens because it is disabled. If I want to remove disabled, and I'm clicking on this button, I can see this will be removed. So when a button is disabled, it doesn't receive click events. And that's where I wanted to get to. A button that is disabled, no matter how it looks like, it should look like visually to indicate that it is disabled, but that doesn't really matter. It's still not gonna work. If it looks the same as other, just like now, and it's disabled, it's not gonna work anyway. So hopefully you understand what disabled does for a button. It doesn't just shows the button as maybe washed out, right? It actually makes it not react to the UI. You click on it and nothing happens.
Okay.
Good. With that in mind, that it does more than styling, we can also style it. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, what should we start with now? Styling the button as blue and red, or making the sizes work as smaller button, bigger button, and so on?
Styling them. I don't know.
I know you don't know. I was asking you so you can pick one.
Styling them.
Which one?
The first one with the blue and the red.
Okay. So, if we are to go to this Figma and just grab a color from here, let's see what type of color is this, and where can I find it? Hey, primary 600. What? Okay, maybe if I click on this one. How's it going, Maria?
I'm finding stuff in here, and I see that some functions are repeated, and it's just
I'm not talking about functions. I'm just talking about the tags that generate that.
Yeah, I got to some of them, but not like proper the one that has the ID map.
What ID map?
So the main one, the parent, this one, is ID map.
But I'm not talking about the map. I'm talking about the thing that is blue right now on your screen.
Yeah, these markers. I'm still trying to find them.
Okay.
I found other stuff that are below, but not this one yet.
Okay, still inspect it and find out. If you inspect it, you have on top of it, just click inspect on the guy, on the blue one. See? So in it and on top of it, you got lots of information. That's how you find it. Cool. So as I was saying, let's grab this color, which is 7 whatever. And if we are to go to the button and button style, whatever the button style is, I'm gonna also here const color map equals and blue is this with a hash because it needs hash, and then I'm gonna do also red, not read, red. Then if I'm going down here and we got red, and we put it over here. Yay, so now I got 2 colors. And we might want to use them for the background color over here. Right?
Yes.
Now, the idea was that one or the other changes based on which of its values.
The color.
We got blue or red. So if you look at all those properties, which one do you think is the one that helps us take that decision to show blue or red?
Children. No.
Yeah, sure. You aren't paying attention somehow.
Disabled.
You're doing exactly the things that people do at interviews to fail. You're guessing, which is okay. It's better because you don't know, but I've already told you. See, when I was playing with those buttons, just a second. I was showing you that it has this destructive here. We've also talked about it for like 5 minutes. And then it slipped out of your mind, but that's okay. This is the destructive property, okay, that we decided to call it destructive anyway. It could be anything else. And you can see that for the first one, destructive is false, and for the second one, destructive is true. And we are talking about buttons, like delete button, something that removes an element. Those could be considered as destructive because they remove something from the database. They make it no longer exist in some sort of a way. That was our chat about destructive that you're missing out. So now, let's get back to it.
Destructive.
Yeah, destructive. Are we passing destructive to this one? To line 15?
No.
No. Can you do that?
So I don't know if I should write it over here or over here.
Okay, so children goes over here most of the times because children could be, think about children, could be Neața, hello, hello, could be a div with hi. Those could be children, right?
Okay.
However, we are not passing components in here. We're just passing true, false, MD, small, and so on. So it makes more sense to be on this side. And I'm not sure why that button is double closed now. Why is the button double closed?
So I should delete this one?
Well, we already have one on 17. Yeah, we grabbed, just a second. From over here, this is children, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna copy it. You can see on the screen, copy, Command C.
Yes.
I'm gonna switch to the other one and I'm gonna paste it over here. This is what happens with children. It grabs whatever it's in here, a text or more, and dumps it in here.
Okay.
Cool. So now, take into consideration that children can be something that could be something simple or more complex, and the rest of them are booleans, numbers, strings, most of the time. Yeah, let's pass destructive over there. Yeah. Yay. And when you save it, it should format it. Yay. Now it looks even cleaner, right?
Yes.
Easier to read. Cool. Now, this is button. It's a style button, right?
Yes.
A style component, like. And it receives an on-click, doesn't do much about it, just reacts to it. Could receive disabled or not. Well, it does receive disabled, but disabled could be true or false, right?
Yes.
It does receive a size, and now it does receive a destructive. By the way, could name it destr for the moment. The idea is, I'm gonna change it to destructive in a second. This value over here could be true or false as well. And this value goes over here, because you can also see it, right?
Yes.
Now, if you type here distr or destructive or high or whatever, it doesn't change a thing, because this is the key that you're sending it to. So this destructive goes in here now.
Yes.
With that in mind, that this is this, and this just happens to be the same as this, because it's convenient for us to look at them like that. So size goes here. This has
Yes.
nothing to do with the fact that this is size. It is just convenient for us to name it size. Okay. So now here goes the values. Here the values are going, whatever. Those are the values. And those are just keys. Could be named anything. Anything. Just keys, right? Now, when we are talking about this button and its properties, the properties are the keys. With the values, those values. So when you're referring to props, you're referring to on click because of this blue on click, not because this one. This one doesn't really matter. When you're saying props disabled, you're referring to this DISABLA, whatever ID, ED, whatever. This is a value, right? Cool.
Yes.
So now let's go back to undo. Yeah. So now we're receiving the property destructive because on the left side of equal, it's called destructive. So now let's go back to the button itself. And we were talking about this background color, light blue. This is the one that is hard-coded at the moment. Every single time we look at the button, it's light blue. And we might want to have it either blue or red.
Okay, so we should write blue or red there.
Almost. Do you know how to make an interpolation inside backticks?
I think so.
Okay, so
Yes.
remove light blue and try something.
Second, I don't find where you are on the Visual Studio Code button style TS.
If you go look at my share screen, if you go at the share, live share, whatever your icon is, you can click on people to follow and or not follow them.
Oh.
Okay, so light blue has to go away. And now try an interpolation. You already have backticks. That's what I was saying. You are in backticks. It starts on line 9 and it ends on line 19.
This one,
Almost. Yeah,
like this.
Yeah, that's it. So now, that's it. Okay, whatever we write in here, 2 plus 5 plus 99 is going to be about 106. This is a JavaScript expression inside. It's an expression. Whatever JavaScript you write, this is JavaScript now. It's no longer a string, like until here.
Okay.
So having in mind that that's why we wrote that, so we can write JavaScript, right? Can we create a function?
Yes.
Okay.
So I should write function.
Or the easiest
Font.
one. What is the easiest way to write functions in ECMAScript 6? Yes. Well done.
And equal, so or just
No, equal,
no.
it's okay, but it's not equal. It's fat arrow, so there's a greater sign after it as well.
Okay.
And then what else? What else do you need to make that a function? You need the body. Yeah, that's it. Okay,
Okay.
cool. Cool. So now I got a function, and this function can receive multiple arguments here. First, second, third, fourth, whatever. Right? It's a function.
Yes.
We are only interested in the first argument, which also happen to be most of the times named props. But props can, the function can have multiple arguments. That's what I'm telling you. We are just interested in the first one. Okay?
Yes.
So now props, do you remember what type of value is in JavaScript?
No.
Okay, it's an object.
Object.
Yeah. You kind of missed a lot, right?
Yes.
Go. We kind of said almost every single day about this. Something about it. Anyway, this props has all the keys that we mentioned. This props has on click. This props has disabled. I'm not talking about this on click. I'm talking about the blue one. It has disabled. It has size and it has destructive. Which one are we interested in?
Destructive.
Okay, so let's just grab out of that object one property called destructive. Okay. So now, based on the fact that destructive could be either blue or red, we can do something later on. So by default, which one would you like destructive to be, blue or red?
Red.
Okay, so after destructive, you can assign to it a value. So destructive equals space equals space.
Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Red.
And red, like that, it looks like it's a variable called red. We need string red. Yeah, that's it. So now the default value of destructive is red, unless destructive has a different value, and then it is that value. But if you don't say anything about destructive, don't pass any value to destructive, it will be red. If you pass 2 to destructive, then destructive is going to be 2. If you pass blue, it's going to be blue. If you pass Marian, it's going to be Marian. Unless you pass nothing, and it's going to be red. Okay?
Yes.
Good. Now, we no longer need those, let's say, curly braces over here for the body, because we are going to do a short return or a implicit return in here. So we no longer need those curly braces for the function. Okay. So now, if you look into this file, which value holds some data about blue and red?
Color map.
Yeah. So you start with color map.
Oh, sorry. Over here.
Okay, so color map is an object. Usually you can do what whenever you have an object to
Curly braces.
to find the value of its properties in an object. If you have an object and you want to say, I have an object with name and age. I have an object person. It has a property name and the value of it is Marian. And it also has a property age and the value of it is, let's say, 40. How do I access the values in an object? Okay, so
No.
you're really behind. You've never ever done anything like this, right?
Maybe I did, but I didn't understood.
Okay. Dot.
Dot.
Put a space. Remove that dot. And put the dot back. Now, do you have autocomplete?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. Now, this is what is called hard-coded. Now, it doesn't matter what you do with destructive because you always are returning color map of red. It's always red because you just hard-coded it. Now, there is another way to tell color map, give me one of your properties and the value of one of your properties. However, I want it to be dynamic, not hard-coded. So in JavaScript, instead of using dot, you can use the not curly braces, straight parentheses, whatever, brackets, whatever, like DRI. So instead of dot and red, remove dot and red. Just like you're calling the index of an array or an array. How do you do arrays?
No.
Almost. No, arrays. Come on, arrays. Really? Okay. This.
Sorry.
Yeah. How far behind are you? Because you've missed, but did you miss everything? Because I need to let's say, dial down if that's the case.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I forgot some things.
You don't forget them if you practice them. If you just watch and never practice, that's what happens, right? So if you've seen something, you should have practiced it if it's new, right?
Yes.
Anyway, so now we can say, well, color map, I want either red or blue. Who do you know of being either red or blue on the same line?
Destructive.
Exactly. Yay. So now color map is going to give us the value of blue if destructive is blue, or color map is going to give us the value of red if destructive is red. Hopefully. I don't know why this one is complaining. Who's any? Blue string. Blue string, red string, string or boolean. Why is the okay? So our type is wrong now. See, destructive, it's in our type is boolean. Cool. So that kind of tells us a slightly different story. So destructive should be by default false, because it's either true or false, right? And if it's false, it's not destructive, and if it's true, it is destructive. When it is false, it should be blue, right?
Yes.
And when it's true, it should be red. So it's almost like this, but slightly different. Now let's see how do we achieve this now. We could do destructive here and a question mark and two of this if true and if false. Okay, those two that I wrote over here are just for visually representations for you. So the idea is that we have here a short if else. In our case, this is the condition, whatever it's before this question mark. And now if the condition evaluates to true, this will happen. If the condition evaluates to false, this will happen. Questions so far?
No.
Okay, so if destructive is true, we want to say color map red, and you can hard code it now.
Color map.
Yeah.
No.
How do you call properties on an object that are hard coded?
With dot.
Mm-hmm.
Red.
Yeah. And
And
if
color map blue.
Yeah. Yay. See? It started to pick up a bit.
Yeah.
Now I believe this should work. Unless the world is against us. Cool. Let's go back to our browser if false is not defined. Of course it's not defined. So, am I on dark? No, I'm on light, okay. So I got background color with destructive, either false or true, whatever it is. Now let's get back to the button itself, or the whatever it's here, index in routes. So we can test our button. Okay, maybe we can make this one destructive. And now disabled. We've tested disabled already. Yay. We got one button. And a second button. See, one is blue, kind of purple. What's that color? I don't know. Purple, right?
Yes, purple.
Yay. I nailed it. Okay, and a red one. So every time we create buttons that have destructive in them. Nice. Hee. Haha. I got nice. Hee hee haha. And all of them are like that. If I want nice to be not red, I can do like this. Questions? Because you did have one at some point. Why do we write this one over here?
So that when the theme is dark, it shows those.
Yeah, if I'm to change the theme to dark, let's see what happens.
The color would be white and the background color would be black.
Probably, yeah, see. Which is not necessarily what we want for the button. We wanted this for the body and the text in general. However, for the button, we want to change this background color to something similar to this. Can you do the same over here?
Yes. So
With the exception that you switch red and blue.
okay.
No. Create the function first time.
Okay.
As you're a beginner and you're still learning, do them step by step. Later on, once you've done them enough and you understand them, that's when you want to be quicker. I know I'm doing them quicker. Don't do the curly braces because you haven't finished your function.
Okay.
The decision comes later on if you write it as a one-liner or multiple lines when you know what you want to write. Can you do the curly braces for the function? You don't have a body for that function. Oh, flip it. Okay, I'm gonna write over here. This is the interpolation. I'm gonna leave a lot of spaces so you can understand. This is the function.
Oh.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. As you're a beginner, I was telling you, if you write stuff like you started, you write it because you're trying to, I don't know, follow a recipe.
Yes, I got it now. Sorry.
Cool. So this is the interpolation that allows us to write anything in here. Could be a function, could be an addition, could be anything you write in JavaScript.
Yes.
Okay. So start with that function. It receives some arguments. Which one are we interested in? Just the first one, right?
Distinctive.
Okay. And add some spaces before and after. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm gonna look into YouTube Nothing. Hey. At least it will be there for you to watch later. Okay. So what happened here? If you are to explain it in your own words.
I did some JavaScript inside the background color so that it shows when the screen is on the dark theme, the button will show if, okay, so distractive was, if the button is active, not active, I don't know to say it.
Okay, destructive.
If the button shows it's not, is available, I don't know how to say it.
Let me do it. Okay, so over here on line 18 and 19, that's how it looks like. We wanted to either show a color of either the blue one or the red one. And based on the destructive value, if it's true or false, we are either showing either the blue one or the red one. That's it.
Okay.
So usually when you're explaining it, unless somebody specifically says, well, explain me letter by letter, you shouldn't explain JavaScript to another JavaScript developer. You should explain the intention, like what are you trying to do. Because JavaScript, a developer can read JavaScript, right?
Yes.
Cool. A front-end developer, I would say, not any developer in the world. Anyway, so with that said, let's see if it works. Because we could change the theme. Yeah, kind of. Let's keep in mind. So this and this are blue and there are 3 reds. Yeah, now there are 3 blue and 2 reds. So it's kind of working, right?
Yes.
Cool. Let's continue. We got some colors, not too much, but it's a difference. We forgot also about border radius. Maybe I forgot about just mentioning it. I believe it is in the design somewhere, so maybe we can do something about border radius as well at some point. Cool. Shall we try to do the sizes?
Yes.
Cool. Now I'm gonna go in here into index. And we have a few buttons. Hey, haha, and more of them. And I'm going to add some sizes to them. Size. And this one is going to be extra large. And this one is going to be just, well, this is extra large. This is extra large. This is large. This is medium. I'll do 2 more. And this is small. And this is extra small. Okay. if we are to go and look inside the browser, all of them look the same, right?
Yes.
I'm going to also wrap those ones for the moment in something that I don't like. Wrap div. And this it's going to have a style. Yeah, which is an object and has display flex and gap on rem. Yay. So now I got those ones here. There's some spacing between them now. And maybe if I want to make it smaller, like that, I can do flex wrap. Yeah. Cool. Now let's get back to our sizes, because so far almost each of the buttons, there is one that doesn't. This the first one. So it's okay, because some buttons might not have a specific size, right? So each button is receiving a few props, like size, like destructive, like on click, see? Like all those ones. And just like the other one, those size and on click are going to go into the button as props, right? So far so good?
Yes.
Okay. The button receives props as the first argument. Notice that I selected the curly braces as well, because that's the first argument, right? And out of it, we are grabbing children, destructive, disabled, icon leading, size, and on click. We are already grabbing size, which is cool, which means at some point this is going to be MD, see, or XS, or LG, or something, right? And then we are passing size down to style button over here. Now size as MD, LG, whatever, is going to go inside the prop name with the same name, size. So in the end, as button will have a property size, which is a string that could be one of those values.
Yes.
Cool. So going back to S button. Going back to S button. We need some kind of map for it to grab the paddings and font sizes in order to make use of this. So I'm going to do here a const size map equals and I'm going to do XS extra small, and this is going to have a padding of, let's say, 10 and 15, whatever, or 12 and 18. Maybe we're gonna figure it out anyway. And what else is going to have if it has a size? Maybe a font size. We'll figure it out later. Yeah. And XS, small, medium, large, XL, and XXL. So we don't need one. Now I'm gonna just slightly increase those ones. I'm not sure if this is what we need. I'm just gonna play with it. And this is gonna be 22, 26, 30, 36, and 40. Now, what's this I'm doing? Just making noises. Cool. How are you dealing with Maria? Did you find them?
Oh, well, I found the labels. I found where the label, like, So I found where the label is its name and where the span is with the classes. That like the span holds basically the label, this text from the label, but then the span is also is in a div. And I was wondering because I tried, but I don't know how right that is. I tried to first leave everything in the span and then like all the classes in this ID and the style, and then in the div as well. And I'm thinking we could get rid of the span and just put the ID and the style here on
Well,
the
why
div.
would you do that? Yeah, just a second, Antonio. So the idea is to use before and after, not to do whatever you want to say. So the text that is asset name needs to go into a data attribute, let's say data content on the top div, right? And that top div needs to be styled, so then a before or an after picks up that value.
Data content
That's not how you write data content anyway, but
minus.
it's custom attributes for HTML, Maria. It's custom attributes for HTML. If you ever done HTML so far, that's how you do a custom attribute, and people should learn it before they even find about pug. Just saying, I've used it multiple times and you haven't paid attention in the reviews. Now you're missing it out. You've used data test ID so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. It's a custom attribute. That's how you do custom attributes in HTML. You can do any other way custom attributes, but if you do it with data hyphen, it goes into the data set, and also Google recognizes them as custom attributes and it doesn't penalizes you because that's how we build the custom attributes. Yeah, that's it. So pass it that value and then you can capture it into the before or after. Anyway, so getting back to this size map. We have here padding. However, I'm going to give you some pointers a bit. So can you try to explain to me what happens when I do this?
It only applies the padding 1 rem on the top and the bottom and the 2 rem on left and right.
Yeah, perfect. And now we can see here that I've prepared something for you. Those are not the final values, but there are some values that we can play with just to see if it works. Because if it works, you can just change the values to the correct ones and that's it, right? So now how do we end up with 20 and 24 and 40 here and here? Or with 14 and 22 here and here?
We write 14 and 22 instead of 1 and 2.
But that's hard-coded, right? You've done it recently, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago.
With dot.
Okay, those need to be dynamic, not hard-coded.
With.
Okay, so what do you know about HTML and CSS? They are static, right?
Yes.
So which is the language that helps them become dynamic?
JavaScript.
Okay.
Interpolare.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's okay. That's in Romanian anyway. So let's do interpolation.
With this.
Okay. Do some spaces so I can see that you understand that inside there will be a function. Well, you don't need to do those spaces like that.
Yes.
Because that's the function. And you don't need to do the spaces at all. It's just for you to realize that you need to write a function which you didn't finish yet. You did not finish the function. Yay, now you finish the function. Okay. So firstly, before you do anything else, you write a function. If later on you decide not to have the round parentheses or the curly braces, that's something different. If you've made, let's say, 100 of those paddings, you for sure would know when the function starts and when it doesn't start. But until then, let's take it step by step, okay?
Okay.
Cool. So that's the first argument. What do you want to grab out of it that helps us decide?
So it's map.
Okay, if you switch back to the, well, it's okay, it's okay. What you started is it's okay. Yeah, it's not size map. Come on, I thought it started good. Anyway, go back to button type.
Button type.
It's a file.
Okay.
Okay.
This one.
Are you on button type? The file itself?
Yes, I think I am.
I don't
Button
see
type.
you.
No, I am not.
Okay. So you have here style button, right?
Yes.
Which property do you think is going to help us?
Size.
Because it has XS, SM, and so on. And in our size map, in the style, we have size map with key XS, with key SM, with key MD, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So now we need that property. What was the property name?
XS.
What was the property name? Not the property value.
Size.
Okay.
Size.
So that's why I told you that you started good.
Oh, so it was size.
Okay, and if we want to give a default value to it, what would be the default value? Let's start with MD, because here it's like you blank too much and I get pissed off when you blank too much. That's it. We just discussed like for 5 minutes about XS, SM, and D and so on, and I'm asking you what would be a default value, and you're like, nothing. Pick one of those 6 ones.
MD.
Okay. So size equals string MD. MD is not a variable yet. And put some spaces around that equal. Okay, so if you don't pass size, it will always be MD. Unless you pass size, and then if you pass size as LG, it will be LG, right? Cool.
Yes.
Now, what do we need to do now? Because there is something. I think we can do it in one line, this solution, so we no longer need the curly braces for the body of the function. And now, since we are inside it, we have access to size map, because size map is outside, right? And a function has access to everything that's outside it, right? And we also have access to size, which comes from the argument itself. The first argument, it's an object, and we destructure size. So we got size map, and we also got size, right? So if we want to get to, let's say, line 11 to the property of visceri, how do we get to it? Who holds 12 and 18 to start with?
XS.
More
The padding.
up, more up.
Size map.
Okay, so let's start with size map. Because I was just mentioning we have access to size map. Okay, size map, if you look at it, what type of value is it in JavaScript?
It's an object.
Okay, so if it's an O and the rest of it?
Object.
Okay.
Object.
How do you know you can access properties? Okay, I'm not telling you to create an object, right? I'm asking you how do you access properties, and we just discussed this like 10 times. That's one of the ways. Yeah, that's okay. That's one of the ways. Okay, so if you're using this notation, it means you do not want to write a hard-coded value for the key. You want to pass a variable, and that variable has the value of the key itself. So based on, what are you doing?
Sorry.
Okay, can I finish my explanation or my description to you? Okay, who do you know that has a value of XS, SM, MD, LG, XL, and XXL somewhere on the same line.
Size.
Okay.
Size.
On the same line.
Size.
Okay. Okay. So pass in those square brackets. Size. Okay. Stop. That's it. Stop. Okay. I'm going to go on routes on index, and you might want to switch and watch me because I need your help
I am.
over here. Do you have two monitors?
No.
So somehow split them anyway. So I want you to
the
pick.
VS Code is following you.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
want you to pick one of those buttons.
The last one.
Okay. So in the last one, size has a value. What is the value of size?
SM. Small.
Okay. Small. Okay. So if I'm going inside the button now, just the button itself, right? Size comes over here. What is the value of size in our example?
SM. Small.
Okay. So size is SM, this one. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are passing size down to S button. Right?
Yes.
And over here comes as SM, right?
Yes.
And it goes into here as,
Size.
yeah, with the value
SM.
SM. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the style button. Come on, stupid. So now I'm inside the style button and I receive size. And size is no longer MD because I'm passing a value. What is the value of size?
MD.
Why?
No. No. Small.
Small, okay, because you passed one. There is only one button that doesn't pass any value. It's the first one. All the other buttons are passing a value. Let's go back to index. Okay, can you follow me here? See, this is the button that doesn't pass any size with a value. It only passes on click.
Yes.
All the other ones will have a defined size. It's going to be either SM, XS, LG, XL, whatever it is, that's the one.
Yes.
And you picked up this one. Said, okay, I'm gonna look at this small one, right? SM. So
Yes.
SM as a string goes into the button, gets over here to size. Size now it's still SM, and it arrives here as size SM, right?
Yes.
Now size SM goes in here into style button, right? So now we are into style button, and I'm looking at line 35, and we got the props. What is the value of size?
Small.
Or
Size.
or
SM.
okay, SM, right? So now SM is here. Think of it as being directly SM, not MD, right? SM is here, and it arrives here, SM, right?
Yes.
Now, so far we got here size map of SM, like .sm. What is the value of size map .sm?
The padding 14 and 22.
Yeah, it's this object with padding and whatever. So it's an object.
Yes.
Okay. If it is an object and we want to, let's say, access the value padding, what do we do? So this is the object so far that I have selected.
We put curly braces.
We do not want to declare the object. It's already here. We can look at it. And we've talked so many fucking times. I'm about to puke. How about you take a pen and paper? It's so easy. Why do I need to repeat like 10 times? Take pen and paper.
.sm.
Yes. It's not .sm. Because you started good and then you messed it up. Okay, our intention is to get inside this object and access the property padding.
Dot padding. Then.
Yes. Okay. Now let's see. Yay! I'm so happy that you removed everything because you're so smart. Because I said remove fucking everything. What's going on? Just wait for a second. Look, I even selected this and I told you this is the object that we are looking at. I even selected it. So just try to pay some a bit of attention. I know you're excited about it, but come on. At the same time, I'm trying to do a job here, like we are paid. You know, I'm teaching you. We're experimenting. We are discovering, and we are building websites at the same time. This is not a lesson. This is live practice. Okay, so in the live practice, we can end up doing, I don't know, 3-4 tickets today, or maybe just half of it. Which one do you think is better?
The first one.
Okay, so now we got to padding. Let's look at padding. What is padding as a value?
It's an array.
Yes, and we can take that array and do a map on it so far. Let's do a map on it. Do you know how to do map on arrays?
No.
Okay, write down on your piece of paper. You need to practice map, and I'll do it for you now because it's going very slow. So map is just like a function, I'm calling it, and map receives another function. Do you understand now why I wrote those spaces?
Yes.
So you can understand that. What? Leave me alone. This is another function. Leave me alone. If I put it, yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna put my cursor over there. So map receives a function, and in flip, this is a value, and this is a key. A key, a nice key. Okay, those are the two most used values that you need inside the function that map receives over here. And for just a moment, because this is pissing me off, I'm gonna press a few enters here and there. Okay. It's still pissing me off. Anyway, value, flip you. Value is going to be either 18 or 26 because map, what it does, it iterates through the collection. First time is that, second time is that, fourth time is that, third time, fourth time, so on. We only have two values, so it only iterates twice. Okay?
Okay.
So value is going to be 18 and 26, or 20 and 30, or 22 and 36. Okay?
Yes.
So we got value, and if we just print it back, just value, nothing changes. Basically, everything stays the same. However, what I intend to do, right? You are playing with this, right? Because you chose SM.
Yes.
I'm gonna comment, put this one in as reference so we know what we are intending to do. This one at the end needs to produce something like this. 14 pixels, 22 pixels, or I'm not sure how much 14 is, but should be 0.875 rem, and this should be, I don't know, 1 point whatever rem. I'm not gonna do the exact calculation, but you can even ignore this one for the moment because it's gonna be done automatically for us. However, what we want to do is not just have 14, because so far we could have 14 and 22, but this doesn't work in CSS. So we need to convert 14 into what?
Rem. Into pixel.
I even selected it. I'm still waiting for your answer, by the way.
Pixels?
I even selected it. It's selected.
14 pixels.
Okay, 14 pixels. And 22 into?
22 pixels.
Okay. So what you said earlier was like that.
Yes.
Okay. That's okay. Maybe you meant this in your head,
Yes.
but you didn't communicate it in with your voice. Which again, when you're going to work, you have to be more specific, especially at interviews. Because if you have a friend, that's different, and you both know whatever you're doing. Maybe you can use that language, but when you're inside an interview and somebody asks you specifically, you should be specific enough. Anyway, so value is so far 14. Do you know how we can convert value from 14 to 14px?
We should say 14px.
Okay, what if it's 22?
We should say padding.
Okay, so our intention is not to, I don't know, say, can you convert 22 into 22 pixels? And then you're saying, okay, 22, padding, dog, chimney. Let's not just give values at random. Let's focus on the task, because we can finish it in 2 seconds if we focus on it. Otherwise, we cannot finish it. So our goal is to convert 22 into 22 pixels, or any number.
With pixels at the end.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so that's our intention, right?
Okay.
I'll also comment this because we don't need it. So now we got value, and we know value could be 12, 18, 14, 14, whatever, any of those values, see? So how do we convert that into something that has pixels at the end? Any idea?
We should say pixels.
Okay, how do
Value.
you say that? See, you've really missed a lot, because you've done this every single day. Every single day. I'm not sure how much you missed, because you just say you missed, but if you missed that much, it means you've missed, this is your first day. Because we've done this every single day. Every single day we've done this, and every single day I've asked multiple times every single day, in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, before the afternoon, after the afternoon, almost every single time I've asked, does anybody has any questions? And then silence comes in. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't have questions. One of the quick solutions is like this. You concatenate a number with a string, and that's it. Another solution that you've done billions of times probably, but you haven't ever asked a question about it, it's this one. Yeah, backticks. We are doing backticks right now. But we are doing backticks blindly, because you don't know what happens here. You do not know that from here to here it's a string. From here to here it's something dynamic. From here to here it's another string. From here to here it's another string. You do not know this, because you haven't asked any question. So again, I want you to understand something very, very clear. I'm the one who knows how to build websites. I do not need to learn this. I do not need to master this. I've already mastered them. It is you who needs to master them and to learn and to understand. So when I'm asking questions like politely, does anybody has any questions? And everybody shuts. It is you, it is Vivi, it is whoever, Stefan and so on. Whoever doesn't ask, that's the one. Those are the ones who don't get the value. Maybe next time you'll be less not asking and more asking. Because you see, I did present it to you over here in WowDop. Something really awesome. Something really awesome, like, you know, Valentina managed to get to 58,000 per year in just 6 months and 25 days. Do you know how many times Valentina was asking questions every single day?
Times, I guess.
as long as she had breaths, as long as she wasn't tired enough to go to sleep, she was either practicing or asking questions. The same goes for everybody who succeeded. Look, you can be shy all you want. You got 2 years to be shy about it, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get the high salaries that everybody gets, because you're not asking anything and you're not chatting and you're not communicating, just like people do at work.
I thought they were stupid questions. That's why I didn't
know,
ask them.
but you know that everybody in the world gets born stupid, right? I got born stupid. You got born stupid. Everybody gets born stupid. And because we do something about it, because we practice something every day, cooking, running, talking, I don't know, speaking a new language, because we practice those stupid things, we find out what is stupid and what is good. And then we can take a decision in our mind to keep the good stuff and also keep the bad stuff as let's not do it like that because I know it's stupid. So anyway.
Yes.
Again, I can get any client I want because I got into a position where I understood how those sons are working. And you should get into the same position if you want to get those clients. Do ask your questions, do the mistakes, whatever. You got a really good pattern recognition, so that's nice. As soon as we done something, then you did the switch yourself very quickly. So it's not like you're too far behind. Right, but you're gonna be behind if you do not ask questions. That's a given.
Yes.
Right? So let's be more communicative because it's for your own good. Okay.
Thank you.
Now about those backticks, if you do an interpolation, that means this is JavaScript. You can also do value plus, if it's a number, 20, and if the value is 10, this is going to be 30.
Yes.
So you got JavaScript inside curly braces. Now outside curly braces, and of course that dollar, you can have anything you want. You can even have another one over here, and this is 2 plus 2. And of course, if I'm to think ahead, this is going to become 4, right?
Yes.
Cool. So keep this in mind. Backticks are going to help you a lot whenever you want to combine different strings, different values. If you want to remove something, well, actually, mostly when you want to add, but you can also remove stuff if this does something to remove. Anyway, this is how we get an array that is no longer this array. Which one was it? SM? Okay, so in our scenario so far, we haven't got to the end. We got this, and right now is no longer that, it's this. This is what we've done so far. So it's not what we want at the end yet, but it's further progress.
We want them in rem.
Rem or not, we want them with space and just like that, not like that.
Okay.
So do you know how to combine multiple values from an array into one single string and then put a space between those values? Because you could also have here 33 and 44 and let's see, 33 px escape and 44 px. You could also have it like this, right? And the end would be that I'm looking for. Well, let's just copy this.
Yes.
And put it here, and then this is what I'm looking for without the quotes. This is the end that I'm looking for. And we are not yet there. We are here in this position. Any idea?
I don't know how to do it.
That's okay. Okay, let's do this one here. We have an array of hi John, well John, and 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and blah, 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 blah. And then this is the array, right? This is where we are at. One of the ways to combine them is to use join. If you just do join, it's gonna do something, but not necessarily what we want. See, it's gonna put commas somehow by default. However, join can receive arguments as well. See, I can put not 9. Let's put equals. Do you see what happens?
Yes.
So it places equals in between the values, right? So if I want spaces, I just put a space. Well, I can put space, minus equal minus space, and do some smiley here. See, it just combines the values.
Yes.
See? Okay, so
Yes.
you can write this one down somewhere there, ri.join. And then later on, when you have some free time, msdn ri join. And what w3 scores whatever. And you can see that it tells you more about join. Where's join here? Here. See, join by nothing, join by whatever. More examples. And you can play around with them in the browser as well. Instead of wind, water, fire, you can say, well, 1, 2, and 3, or bananas, and other fruits. Zici că vă mânca perna aia. Anyway, so can we go back to our stuff and finish it? Because it takes ages. We got an array here. And I'm gonna select the array, so maybe you can pay attention now to what I'm selecting. Well,
Yes.
actually, if I wanna be more clear, this is the entire array. So what do we do?
We add dot join.
Okay.
And a space.
Mm-hmm. So dot join. Undo. Okay. This is the entire array.
So at the end of it.
Okay. Okay, so join by default it joins with a comma, and how do you customize join to be joined with a space? That's it.
Like this.
Hopefully it will work now. Now let's look at our buttons. Yay, I think it's doing it differently. Is it? Okay, 24 and 40. 18 and 20. No, it is doing differently, it's just hard to see. 22 and 36, 20 and 30, 18 and 26, 14 and 22, and 12 and 18. See, this one is a smaller padding, while this one is a bigger padding, you can see it, right?
Yes.
Cool, somehow. Now we need the proper values. And if we are to go into Figma, let's see. This one has 14 and 8. So the first one has 8 and 14, whichever is XS or what's the name of it? Is it XS? This one is small. We don't have an XS. We don't have an XS button. So anyway, do for small 14 and 8. So 14 is left and right, and 8 is top and bottom. So
8 and 14.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna also given to you in a different way. Anyway, just a second. 8 is the first one and 14. Okay, cool. Now the next one is 8 and 16.
Okay.
next one is 8 and 18.
Okay.
Then XL is 8 and 20. And XXL is 12 and 28.
Okay.
Second 12. Okay.
So XL should be 8 and 12, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Let's do 8 and 12. Well, on top of this, there is also something that is new. I'm gonna use multiple line edit, so you might want to follow my screen, not my share screen.
Yes.
So I'm gonna select multiple ones at the same time, press enter, and then over here I'm gonna type gap 8. And then we need a comma, right? And
Yes.
the last one is 12. Cool. This is going to be easier for you. Almost, I'll say. So if we want to do the same, just like padding, however, it's a bit easier, right? Because this time it's not padding, it's gap. However, we don't have that array. So we don't need to map over it. Just as soon as we end up at padding, there's an array. We needed to map and convert it, right? Well, just as soon as we reach gap, it's already 8, or once it's 12. It's most of the times 8, but sometimes it's 12. So as soon as you reach the gap, well, you combine it with pixels, and that's it. So
Okay.
let's see. Try to do gap here. I'll let you continue. And while you do it, try to speak about what your process of writing is.
Okay, so inside of gap, I should write JavaScript.
Before you do that, well, leave it like that.
Okay.
Notice that every single other line has something that you might forget about it at the end. What does every single other line has at the end in CSS?
Punct și virgulă.
Mm-hmm.
Nu știu cum îi zice în engleză.
Semicolon. Yeah, so you don't need that code. But anyway, now you kind of bulletproof yourself that you're not gonna forget about it. And sometimes you do forget about it, and it's not the time when you forget about it and you see it and you put it back that matters. It's the time when you don't see it not being there and you think it's there. That's when you waste like half a day or a day. Okay, let's start with a function. No, don't do that, because those spaces are not, again, they're just for you to understand that you should write the function first. That's why I did the spaces. Otherwise, you don't need them.
Okay.
The body, the function as well. You forgot the body. Yeah. Cool. So now the first argument is an object. And we want to grab from it what? Not necessarily gap. Not necessarily gap. Can you look over here? Who has gap? On my screen. Who has gap and padding?
Size map.
Okay, yeah, size map has a lot of them, but who has gap and padding? Not necessarily. Yeah, it is size, but it's the value of size, like XS, SM, MD. Right? So XS, SM, and MD, LG, XL, and XXL has gap, which happens to be the size that we pass.
Yes, great size.
Mm-hmm. And if you give it a default value, which one would it be?
MD.
Okay. Okay, add some spaces around that equal so I can not blind myself. Spaces, spaces, spaces around the equal.
Another one.
Yeah. Okay. Now I think we can do this in one line, so we can remove those. Now sometimes we don't do it in one line, so it's better to add them there. And we know that somebody has a lot of values, and we've used it quite a lot in here. Who has all the values that will also hold the gap?
Size map.
Who has all the values, which holds size map and so on? But actually, you are right. You said size map, and I wasn't. I thought it's something else. So you're right. I'm mistaken. It's exactly what you said. So start with it.
Size map.
Okay. Now size map has some properties which we know we can access with the dynamic size, right?
Okay, so I will say size.
Okay, so now we got that example. Stop for a second. We got that example where you chose SM, right?
Yeah.
And now, what are we interested in here?
The gap.
Okay, so how do you access a property on the object when you know exactly what one it is? That's it. So now if I'm selecting this and S size is SM, what would be the value that I see?
8.
Okay, and what would be the value if size is XXL?
12, right?
12. So that could be either 12 or 8, right?
Okay.
Now, how do you combine a number, 8 or 12, with a string pixels so you can get 8 pixels or 12 pixels?
Oh, no, sorry.
Gap is not a function. I'm not sure what you're doing there.
So 8 or 12.
Okay, can you look at line 43?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say value.
Well,
Like
value is this.
like this.
Stop. Yeah, value is what I selected. You started okay. I'm not sure what are you about to do. No, that's not it.
Okay, gap, and then I will say 8 or 12.
So if I selected, do you see my selection?
Yes.
Okay, this is value. That selection is that selection.
Okay, then dot and join.
Just a second. I'm gonna make it even easier for you. Even easier, because sometimes you're good at something and sometimes you aren't. Okay, maybe you get it now. Size map is value.
Okay, so I should write it like this.
No.
No. Size
So
map is value.
you kind of started okay, but you need that later on.
Pixels.
Hey.
Okay. Like this.
Yeah.
And this.
At the end. No, go at the end. Go at the end. Take them step by step. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, just put the backticks.
Yeah. And I need to put it.
Put the backtick after gap. After
Wait
gap, put backtick. Okay, that's it. Stop for a second now. This is now a string.
Yes.
You can do it with single quotes. You can do it with double quotes. You can do it with backticks. Now, what you want to do, you want this size map to be JavaScript.
Yes. And I'll put.
Yeah, you started good last time, but you didn't know what you're doing. So I'm explaining it to you what you're doing now. Evaluate that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and one more. Yay! And now, where do you want to add something at the end or the start?
At the end,
okay.
Pixels.
Yeah.
But I can see.
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. It's not good. It's inside the backticks because it's inside the backticks.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, look at here. You got the entire pattern for you.
And then
I've even
that's it.
explained to you last time, because you cannot hear stuff, you cannot hear stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Now we have something that we don't need. There's only one thing in the entire line, only one character that we don't need. Which one would that be?
This one.
Do you guess it?
No.
Okay, so what did you do here? Why did you remove that? Come on. Really? Stop. Doesn't matter. That's exactly how you get a no into an interview, by guessing. It's got, do you know that people give this kind of information at the interview? I'm a problem solver.
Oh, this one.
Just a second, Queer, I'm talking about something else. So I'm a problem solver. Most people say I'm a problem solver because they want to look good, right?
Yes.
So then somebody gives you a problem, and you being a problem solver, how do you solve that problem? For example, you got a double-decker bus. It's a bus, right? It's the one with double deck, which is usually the red ones in the UK, right?
Yes.
How many golf balls can you fit in a double-decker bus? What would be your answer?
A lot of them.
Okay, that's how you fail.
As many as they fit. I don't know.
That's exactly how you fail. We are problem solvers here, right? Yeah, keep telling you. That's how you fail. That dot was extra over. This would be the answer to it. Okay, so we got the double-decker bus. We got golf balls, right? Normal golf balls. Now, I'm not too strong at let's say geometry or trigonometry. However, if I don't have anybody to help me out, I'm gonna Google some kind of not solutions. I don't know how to name them in English. Formulas, yeah, formulas to calculate the volume of the double-decker bus. I'm gonna calculate the volume of a ball, and assuming that all balls are just one on top of the other, not like mingled one next to another, then I could calculate and probably get a number out of let's say that formula, which could be, let's say, 500,000 balls. That formula is going to give me more or less an indication of how many balls. So what did I do? I started to break down, okay, if I know something, I'm going to do it. If I don't know something, I'm going to look for somebody maybe in my team. Maybe somebody's like a math genius over here and they already know how to calculate a volume very quickly, and they can point exactly, or at least to a very good direction where I should go. So I gather my information, I gather my tools of doing that, and then I started solving the problem, and then I'm going to present the solution to you. See, it's not a guess, it's a process. And what I'm trying to teach you here is the process of combining strings. Because in the end, I also told you, like, we need gap of whatever, 16 pixels. We need padding with 20 pixels and whatever, 2 pixels, it doesn't matter. This is what we need at the end.
Yes.
So, again, we are looking into the process itself of how to solve this and anything like this. Cool, I think it might work. If we go back to the browser, I don't think we would see if it works or not, because we don't have anything inside it, unless we add more stuff in it to test it out. Because we need, in order to see gap, we need at least 2 elements inside the button, right? So extra small, I'm gonna convert it into a span. I'm gonna do another one. Let's say R. Then this small, I'm gonna convert it into a span. I'll do another one. R for right icon. This is left for left icon. Let's go inside the browser. And I don't see the gap working. Why is it not working? Do you have any idea? Because I got this. And if I am to zoom in, I don't think I can. This is zoomed enough. See, when I'm going from one to another, there's no gap. The same goes over here. If I go from this one to this one, there's no gap. However, if I go to the styles, I can see gap of 8. See?
Yes.
I can see here gap of 8. At some point, not sure which one, but one of them will have gap of 12. This one has gap of 12. Why is the gap not working?
We should write gap.
Look at this, because the answer is here. So why is gap not working?
Because we don't have border. No, that's not it.
Whose gap a property kind of or linked to?
Size?
Display flex, anyway. You've really missed a lot. You're like a month behind everybody with everything possible. So far, the only, let's say, thing that you nailed was that switch of colors, which was straight on, spot on. Well done. Congratulations, but you're quite a lot behind. So you might want to push a bit more if you have the time. If not, at least you need to manage your expectations that this is where you are at. So display flex needs to be over there because gap, justify content, align items, flex wrap, flex direction, whatever. All of those ones never work without a display flex. Any of them, more of them, at least one of them, as long as display flex is missing, is there for nothing. So let's add a display flex to the button. Where is it? Button. So, can you add a display flex to it?
Yeah.
And this is a good, Maria, this is a good example, not the best example, but this is a good example of people that write JavaScript, but they don't know CSS. So what do you write with JavaScript if you don't know CSS? Yeah. Let's hope it works now. Yay, I can see some kind of gap. However, the text is now a bit more to the top, not to the center. So do you know a way to center the text vertically once you use display flex?
Align items.
Perfectly. Yes. Straight away. Well done. And what would be the value of it?
Center.
Yay. And our button is getting better and better now. Okay, let me look at this border. It looks like 8. Okay, can I do a border, rounded border for the corners of this button of 8 pixels?
It should have border radius.
Yes.
50%.
No, because I already told you how much it is.
Ah.
It's this one. Can you see it?
8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 8 what?
Yeah, no.
Pixels. Or 0.5 volume, doesn't matter. The idea is that there are just a few values that accept or can work without any unit. For example, line height can work without any unit. However, line height also works with a unit as well. You can do line height 16 pixels, or you can do line height 1.5, which means whatever the font size is, I'm gonna add half on top of it. So 10 becomes 15, 100 becomes 150, and so on. That's one of them. Then font weight, which is bold, not Italian, bold, normal, bolder, and so on, or 100, 200, 900, up to 900. Those are some other examples of values without units. Every single other unit, every single value must have a unit, like pixels, rem, em, whatever the unit it has to have one.
Yes.
So it's just like in JavaScript. There are lots of truthy values, but there are only 7 of them that are falsy. So instead of learning all the truthy values, you learn the falsy ones because there are 7. Well, actually, there are about 3 that you use on a daily basis, and the other ones you might just need to know about them. So if you learn the falsy values, everything else is true if it's not that, right?
Yes.
The same goes over here. If you know about the values that don't receive, let's say, a unit or can work without a unit, all the other ones must have one.
Yes.
It's a common mistake sometimes. It happens to me even today. Sometimes, rarely, but it does happen to me even today, and it's such a pain to debug it. Such a pain to debug it, to figure out, okay, I forgot that, because you're looking at it, and you're passing here, and you're like, oh, the radius 8, and you continue, right?
Yes.
Cool. So keep that in mind. Now the buttons look better. And we can take a quick break, right? Because we've been online for a long time.
Yes.
Let's see if there are any questions. Although this is a new channel, I'm not expecting people to actually be online here right now. But if there are any questions on YouTube, maybe we can look into them. No questions. However, we got about 2.5 hours of recording, which will be still present on YouTube and on our website. This is our first try, and we need to get better at it, myself as well and yourself as well, because I need to do less flipping, right? Not flip that, less of it. And you guys need to do some more research in your free time for things that are new to you. Get like like a description, some more info. Get your courage in order to ask questions, not just to myself, but to your colleagues as well. You can ask questions to Razvan, you can ask questions to Maria, you can ask questions to anybody like View and so on. Look, I've just done this. What do you think about it? Because I didn't get it right. I mean, I write it over here. I know it appears over there, but why do we do it? Or you need to be more communicative. And congratulations so far. You've almost built an entire button.
Thank you.
Now, before we close the live, let's quickly go over what we've done so far. Just a second, give me a moment. How do you see that thing that I put the phone on top of? It's like a little one. It ran away? No, Marianne. I no longer like Marianne. Me. I thought it was there because I used to stay over there.
This is just bullshit.
Which one?
This. I don't understand how they work. Where is their actual style? I see bits of it, but not all of it, and I don't understand how.
That's okay, because that's why I want to take a break. I want to see where you are at and help you out.
I mean, I tried to select the class. I even gave it a new class just to make sure that it's nothing that repeats anywhere. Because I have seen that there are some classes that repeat. Because in a file we have the badges that are being displayed when they are selected with the blue color, or when they are not selected with the gray color. And that's when this, what I was doing right now, was happening. But then there is another file.
That's okay, Maria. I'm going to get back to you in a few minutes. I just need to finish this.
Okay.
And I want to see where you're at, because it's quite nice where you got to the icons themselves, right? And the text and so on.
Yeah, more or less, but there are
That's okay.
some repetitions anyway.
We'll see, we'll see. Because they repeat themselves and they don't reuse components. So
Yeah.
there must be like copy paste, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Antonia,
Yes.
let's start from the start. We created a button component over here, right? And basically just have a small index to export it. And then in this type, we started with it, right? And in the type, we talked about size, and it has extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and extra large. Then the destructive one is something new in our concept, or at least I'm trying it out anyway. I'm trying to follow, let's say, that Figma, whatever design. And basically that says, well, you're either blue or red, and blue should be like, okay, 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 and red should be like delete, remove, destroy, I don't know, kill. Icon is something that we are going to use. However, that's why I made the break now, because icon is not going to be like, not a flip of buttons. Icon is going to be interesting, and it has at least two solutions, a quick one and a less quick one. The less quick one is more productive for us. The quick one is quick now and not so productive in the future. We'll see.
Yes.
Then leading just says, well, if we have an icon, it's either before the text on the left side or after the text on the right side. Then theme color, as I noticed of it, I don't know exactly what to do with it right now. However, I'm going to do something about it in terms of maybe, like blue, red, or primary, secondary, tertiary, I don't know, rosé, yellow, okay, warning, some kind of indication of how the button should be themed. Then disable, it's quite easy, and we've also talked about it. It's not just visual. Disabled actually makes the button no longer be, it no longer receive clicks, right? We try clicks, it no longer receives clicks, so it's like even if you touch functions, it doesn't do anything. So disabled is not just visual, it's also functional. Then we also created a function over there on click. Well, that's not the function, that's typing it, where I'm showing it right now, this one. So we're expecting an on-click function. And then we have also an interface button, which can receive children and some default props over here to start with. So this is our type, and usually we start with the type so we can figure out the rest of the component easier, and we got our autocomplete and everything else to help us out. Now, if we are to go into the style, this is where lots of stuff has happened. Okay, we created some kind of maps for colors, for the sizes. And then inside this button, we said, well, display flex and align item center, because we want to align the icons and the text vertically in the center. So far, the text only receives the color black. Later on, based on the theme or colors, that might change, will change, not might. Any button by default comes in the browser with a border, and border 0 or border none resets that border. And then we also did a border radius, and we got some buttons looking with border radius like this. Right, and I'm gonna zoom out so I can see all of them, kind of. So will also be the buttons, and hey, not that. So then we also spend some time into padding. And into padding, we know that padding has top and bottom, right? So we are using the 8 from that array as the top one, and 12 at the bottom as the top and bottom one. And everything that's the second value in the array is left and right, and so on, left and right, and so on, right?
Yes.
And because we have an array, inside this padding, we did the map. And then for that map, we converted any of the number values into the number value plus pixels. And then we joined them. So it's padding 2 pixels space 4 pixels, something like that. Then the gap was easier, right? Because for the gap,
Yes.
we started with size MD, and then we just add to the gap, whatever gap it is, 8 pixels. If it's 8, it becomes 8 pixels. If it's 12, it becomes 12 pixels, and that's kind of it. And we have a new, nicer one, media. Prefers color scheme dark, which basically just changes the color from whatever color black on line 39. It changes to color white on line 51, and the background color as well. So this would be, so far in a nutshell, the simple button that we've worked so much on it. We also got a component, but I wanted to try again. Yeah, so it's also responding to dark and light. So that's quite nice. If you switch dark and light, our buttons, well, let me put them like one to another, next to another. See, the buttons change based on dark and light. Yeah. And let's go back to the component itself. This component looks quite clean, I would say, because all the logic is moved outside. We got a very, very, very clean component over here. So far, because it's not done. So this is the start of a button in React, TypeScript, Remix, style components, definitely JavaScript, and many more. Cam așa o să vrem să facem pe... stai că încă suntem live. Let's switch back to English. This is what we want to do more or less after each thing we do. If we create a panel, if we create some kind of box, we want to present it to others. At least for us, we want to present it in two ways at least. One would be for developers, and you've noticed that I didn't explain what a map is, but I explained what our intention was with the map, right?
Yes.
And there is another presentation, and that has to be for stakeholders / people, normal people that are not so techy. They might be into tech, they might know one or the other, but don't expect them to understand everything if you're talking to them just like you're talking to a developer. So for those ones, it's more like, okay, we created some buttons and now they're rounded and so on. So we need to explain what happens, not how we have solved it.
Yes.
Cool. So this is what we need to do a lot. Not just build buttons, not just write code. It's do the code and then try to explain it as we understood, because that's when you also get feedback. As you're a beginner, I'm pretty sure, like you just tried, you got about a third of it right, and about 2/3, I would say half was unclear and half was missed. So we need to have less unclear things and less mess things up. And through practice, you're going to get better. Congratulations for the button and for the two solutions that you just jumped into, and straight away without anything, you just did it. So you do have some understanding. You're missing practice, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Now, based on this, maybe you can create your first movie, or if your first, I don't know, thoughts about it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just write some thoughts, and then we do 2-3 more components. You write more thoughts, and then you create a video after that. Whatever is your choice, we need to kind of figure it out. Okay?
Okay.
Julian Cărnaru says hello. I've seen it over here. Hey, Julian. I'm not sure if you're still live, but hey, Julian. Thanks for joining. By the way, not many people know Julian. Julian is one of our students, and he's working with another student of ours, this Julian. Paleta, Răzvan Pușcașu. Yeah, so both of them are working at the same company. Hopefully in the same team. It would be nice for them to work in the same team. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video, and somehow, again, like I've mentioned, this video needs to appear on our website. I'm gonna unlist it soon. Not public, I'm gonna make it unlist, and whoever wants to view it in the future and replay it, it's gonna happen on our website. Thank you, Antonia, and we'll catch back after I take this break with Maria to see about her progress. Okay?
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you too.